What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our predictions for the Divisional Round matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, over 85% of you are still not subscribed to the channel. Please be sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on notifications, as it will help us create more daily content for you. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Alright Nick, well we saw one hell of a game on Monday night, only from the Rams side though, because it seems like the Cardinals didn't even know the game even happened. They might still be in SoFi Stadium looking around, seeing where everybody is, but as of right now, the Rams are moving forward. They're going to Tampa Bay, taking on the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady at the helm. Nick, what did you see from the Rams that gives Rams fans hope that they can go into Tampa and take down Tom Brady and the Bucs?
Well, I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but I didn't see much from the Los Angeles Rams because they didn't have to do much. They just simply didn't have to beat themselves because Kyler Murray was doing that for them. Kyler Murray just simply handed the game away. And I told you all last week, Kyler Murray is not elite. He's not a high-end quarterback, and we all have to stop holding him in high regard just because he was #1 overall pick. So was Baker Mayfield. Just remember that. But for the Los Angeles Rams, they came out on top. Only 17 pass attempts from Matt Stafford, only 5 receiving recipients. There was just not a lot. Even on the ground, they did not do that much. Sony Michel, Cam Akers both had just over 50 yards apiece. Cam Akers, in his second return back to football, 6 months after tearing his Achilles, this dude looks phenomenal. It looks like that Sean McVay wants to get him right back into this offense. We know how they used him last year as a rookie. This year, it looks like they want to continue right where they left off, and they're doing a great job. Cam Akers looks like he's up for the task. He looks perfectly fine. He looks completely rejuvenated. That's what you need when every defense is completely beaten down. And this is the perfect time to have Cam Akers fully healthy, ready to go, because you're going to need it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers showed last week that their run defense is legit, and they're going to hold the best team at running the football to a minimal gain. That's going to be tough for the Los Angeles Rams, but I believe Cam Akers is the perfect weapon to go up against them because he can just pound the rock all game long and beat down that defensive line, make Matt Stafford's life a lot easier. We know how Matthew Stafford has been under pressure this season. He's gonna need a beat up front seven from the Bucs if he's going to have a very steady pocket, and so he doesn't turn the ball over like he did towards the end of the regular season. He looked a lot better in that Monday night game against Arizona. I know that it was a divisional rival that knows him very well, and he knows them very well, so it's really just an easy game. The Buccaneers secondary is still one of the worst. I don't care if Mike Edwards is having a big game or Antoine Winfield's having a big game. You're going to have to go up against Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr., Tyler Higbee, and Van Jefferson, and all these guys. So many weapons, there's absolutely no way that the Tampa Bay secondary is going to be able to keep up with the receiving weapons that the Los Angeles Rams have to offer, and especially with Matthew Stafford's gunslinging ability, it's going to be very tough for them to stop that deep ball. This is where the Buccaneers are really going to struggle, someplace they have not been tested in a very long time. To me, this gives the Los Angeles Rams a really nice edge on offense. And for their defense, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey, these 4 studs all over the field are going to continue to lock down the defense. Tom Brady had his way in that wild card matchup, but he's not going to have his way with the Los Angeles Rams defense because Aaron Donald is going to take advantage of that beat up offensive line. Tristan Wirfs left, Ryan Jensen left, both came back, but they are both still dealing with bad injuries, and Aaron Donald is going to be the one to expose them. He's going to be the one to put a lot of pressure, put them on their back heels, and make them fall down. So he can go sack Tom Brady. Then we're going to see Leonard Floyd and Von Miller come from the edge, put even more pressure on these tackles, and Jalen Ramsey's just sitting back there waiting for that turnover because he's one of the best man-to-man coverage corners in the league, and he's got Mike Evans to go up against, who Tom Brady seems to like a lot right now. So I think that this is the perfect matchup for the Rams going up against Tom Brady. They've got the perfect pieces in place. They're going up against some battered opponents that they can take advantage of. This really has all the makings of being an upset. I think the Rams have a really strong shot in this game.
It's going to be an uphill battle because, like I said in the open, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are clearly the defending Super Bowl champions, and they showed out against the Philadelphia Eagles, and they did everything they needed to. I know that it looked like it was a two-possession game, but the Eagles scored late, and the Buccaneers just ran clock in the second half. I mean, they really didn't have to do much in this game at all. When I take a look at this, I kind of go back to week 3 and I take a look at their matchup where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went to SoFi Stadium and the Buccaneers struggled. I mean, Tom Brady, 41 of 55 for 432 yards, 1 touchdown. And that's a big issue. Now, if you take a look at the rushing stats, their leading rusher of that game, Tom Brady. You never want to see that. Brady should never be the leading rusher for any team that he's on. I promise you that. Even in his heyday, he was never as mobile as a rock. So, when you take a look at all of the struggles that they had, it came because he wasn't able to run the ball. This team could not do anything. And outside of Mike Evans clearly got the best of Jalen Ramsey this week. 8 catches, 106. They did also have Chris Godwin for this game, so that's going to be a big missing factor for the Buccaneers in this one. Now you're taking a look at the rest of the roster, and honestly, not looking too pretty. Tyler Johnson was in on this, and Rob Gronkowski was also there, but outside of that, nobody really performed. On the defensive side of the ball, 1 sack. That's not going to get the job done against Matthew Stafford. They have to stop the run. They have to put pressure on Stafford. That is going to be the way they get out of this game, and it's going to be a shootout. When you take a look at the Rams side of things, though, the defense did not hold up. Matthew Stafford threw for 343 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is not going to hold up against the Los Angeles Rams once again. And when you take a look at everything that they were able to do last week, the Rams were against the Cardinals, they still have a very potent attack through the air. Their leading receiver in that game was Deshaun Jackson, and granted, he's not on the team anymore, but a player that is on the team, Odell Beckham Jr., and we saw what he can do for this team, not only receiving the ball, but throwing the ball as well. He is an all-around utility player. I love what Odell Beckham brings to the Los Angeles Rams, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be tasked with following him around the field everywhere he goes and just swarming him. Between Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr., they are going to absolutely have their hands full, and it's going to be one hell of a heavyweight matchup between these two teams going at it.
Well, it's been a while since we could agree upon something, but you said it's going to be a shootout, and I wholeheartedly agree. To me, this is going to come down to the last 1 or 2 drives, and this really also comes down to Matthew Stafford versus Tom Brady. I think both of these defenses are able to get pressure with their front 7, and I'd say the Rams have a little bit stronger of a secondary, but at the end of the day, when you look at the quarterbacks, it's truly negligible, and you're coming down to quarterback power. To me, I'm going to take Tom Brady just because it's Tom Brady, and you know by this point you should never bet against the man because he'll make you pay. And all it takes is for the Rams, for Matthew Stafford to make one small mistake, or for Matthew Stafford to even just leave 2 minutes of time on the clock at the end of the game, for them to regret that decision by the end of it all. And it's going to be Tom Brady coming out victorious, because it doesn't matter how much time is on the clock. You know the Buccaneers will always be in it. They will always have that shot. And to me, you just can't go against that. To me, you've got to take the guy who's consistently done it. And Tom Brady's that guy. To me, the Buccaneers will get a slight edge over a very competitive game against the Rams.
Nick, what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Yeah, I'm going to bet against Tom Brady in this one. And listen, you can call me insane. And honestly, I kind of feel it. I feel like I shouldn't even be saying these words, but at the end of the day, I just look at this Rams team and I think they're healthier and they're all around better. I mean, on paper, you take a look, they added Von Miller to this team. They added Odell Beckham Jr. to this team. Those are guys that the Buccaneers didn't have to contend with earlier this season. On top of that, the Buccaneers had Chris Godwin. Guess who they don't have now? They didn't have Antonio Brown for this game, but he was a part of the team. They don't have him either. I really just, when I take a look at Tristan Wirfs and I take a look at Ryan Jensen, the running back situation, there are so many cards stacked up against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I think Brady's going to have one of his all-time best performances to get him out of this one. Jalen Ramsey is licking his chops trying to cover Mike Evans one-on-one, and I guarantee that Taylor Rapp or some other safety is going to be over the top just to make sure that they are bracket coveraging this guy, because outside of him, there's really not a whole hell of a lot. If you're going to bank on Tyler Johnson or Cyril Grayson to get the job done for you against the Los Angeles Rams, I'm taking Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr. I'm taking this Los Angeles Rams team who was just in the Super Bowl a couple of seasons ago. And I think Sean McVay has what it takes to be able to take down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think he finds them what scary, and I think he has the ability to stand up to them and say, I'm going to go straight head-to-head with you, and we're going to be able to outmuscle and outpower you. At the end of the day, I'm taking the Los Angeles Rams in what is going to be a very close but still serviceable win. I believe that the Los Angeles Rams basically replicate their Week 3 matchup where they win by approximately 10 points.
Well, I mean, I called Kyler Murray being a bad quarterback. Now I'm going to say Matthew Stafford's a bad quarterback. I think we're going to see a little bit more of what we saw at the end of the season, just a couple turnovers more than you'd expect and that you'd like.
Are you a wizard trying to put a spell on Matthew Stafford?
No. I would never, ever do anything to negatively affect Matthew Stafford. Never. No.
Expelliarmus. All right. Well, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below who you expect to win this game, the Los Angeles Rams or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let us know who you think is going to come out on top. All right. Well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.